Livia Bin Jackson has a remarkable story of survival and a deep insight on human history as a Holocaust survivor. As an author and professor of Judaic history at Lehman College, she looks back at painful years in the Auschwitz concentration camp and shares her thoughts on what humanity has learned from its sometimes brutal past.
When I first came in the United States, people in general didn't want to hear what happened in Europe. Maybe it has to do with a sense of guilt, because they didn't help us, there was nothing done for us. Those who read my books get it. This book I wrote, the title is I Have Lived 1,000 Years. I wrote this for youth. I had written an original book many years before, and the title of that was Ellie, which was my first name, Coming of Age in the Holocaust. Young people have to learn about this, and so they should be able to understand it and connect with it. I come from a small town, but my brother was in Budapest, and he escaped as soon as he realized that the Nazis marched into Budapest. The next morning, the newspapers came out, and there was nothing about an invasion of Budapest. The Jews immediately on the street were arrested and put into trains waiting at the stations and shipped, and they didn't know where. But later we knew that they went to various concentration camps. It was dark outside, and the train door opened, and some men in striped uniform told us, "Out," in German, "Raus, raus, alles raus." And I was with my mother and my aunt, my mother's sister. She was my favorite person in the world. And the three of us were in arm, and finally we came to a halt. And there stood this fellow whom now we know was Dr. Mengele, the famous angel of death of Auschwitz. He did the selection. With a stick in his hand and his legs akimbo, he directed traffic. A friend of mine and her mother already were directed to the left, and another friend, and there were two girls with their mothers also to the left. So we didn't wait to be told by Mengele which way to go, but automatically we followed them in that same line. And as I was walking a few steps, Mengele noticed me because I was very tall for my age, and I had blonde braids. And the blonde braid, that was the ideal for the Aryan girl. So he hit me over the head, called me back, "Komm zurück." And I came back, and he asked me, "Are you Jewish?" And I said, "Yes, I'm Jewish." He took one of his braids in his hand, and he was wondering. He says, "Was für eine schöne goldene Haare hast du? What a beautiful golden hair you have," which was terribly frightening to me. What does he want from me? We are in a situation where everybody is panicky with fright. And here he takes his time out to admire my braids. And then he says to me, "How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 13. He says, "13? Now, you go this way. Remember, you go to the right, but from now on, you are 16. Remember." He took my mother, shoved her to me and said, "You go with your daughter." And at this point, my aunt started to cry and scream hysterically. Laura was my mother's name. "Please, don't leave me, don't leave me." So my mother wanted to go back to her sister. And he said, "No, you go with your daughter." And Aunt Serena and started to run after us. And somebody gave her a shove, and she fell down. I said to her, "Aunt Serena, I'll never see you again." And again they gave her a shove, and again she fell down. And that was the last I saw of my aunt. So all my friends my age and even a year or two older went straight to the gas chambers. They would be now grandmothers if they would have survived. So on the one hand, I'm very appreciative to God, and every morning I say a prayer which is called Modeh Ani. I thank you, God, for everything that you have given me. I think that my life runs on love. I feel that I love most people, and that's the only way I'm able to go on.